chairperson, I call this regular meeting of the West Orange Zoning Board of Adjustment to order. Today is September 18, 2025. This meeting is being conducted virtually using the Zoom platform. Notice of this meeting was given to the Township Clerk, the West Orange Chronicle, and the Star Ledger, posted on the Township Bulletin Board, all in accordance with the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meetings Act. For those of you properly dressed, kindly rise as we pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Please be seated. Legal counsel for Alex Fisher, kindly read the opening statement.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. The Zoning Board of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body. It hears evidence from sworn witnesses and makes decisions as would a court of law. The applicants are here because the projects they propose do not meet the requirements of the West Orange zoning code, or they have been denied permits by the building inspector. We are their first avenue of appeal. Board members have a twofold responsibility. First, to see that the applicant is treated as fairly as possible, since no zoning code can foresee all possible inequities. And second, to protect the welfare of the community as a whole, which is the basic purpose of municipal zoning. Our procedures are simple. The applicant presents his case, objectors then present their case. Citizens in the audience are then given an opportunity to speak both for or against an application. We expect the conduct of these proceedings to be dignified and orderly so that all parties may obtain a fair and impartial hearing. As our proceedings are public, so is our decision making, which usually takes place the same evening. Because appeals from the decisions of the board can be made to the courts and in some cases to the Township Council solely on the basis of the record before this body, and since the rules of evidence and case law are technical, we would like to advise all persons of their right to legal counsel in these proceedings, and we, the board, will consider an adjournment to anyone who wishes additional time to obtain counsel.
Thank you. Ms. Chandler, kindly call the roll.
Of course. Mr. Barbie.
Present.
Dr. Benzie.
Here.
Mr. Cohen.
Here.
Mr. Dannemiller.
Here.
Mr. DeBovie.
Here.
Ms. Miller.
She was here.
Ms. Miller.
You.
Let's give her the opportunity to come back on.
Okay.
We'll make a
Mr.
note of it.
Schwarzbaum.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott.
Present.
Mr. Sussman.
Here.
Mrs. Weiss.
Here.
All right. One more time. Ms. Miller.
We'll come back to her before we start.
All right. And then Chairperson Neuer.
I am here as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Announcements. We have a regular meeting scheduled for October 16, 2025. This is sticking in my throat. We have special meetings on October 23 and October 30th. The tentative comes out because we've received confirmation that we do have all the required professionals, so that we will be meeting 3 weeks in a row. The 16th for a regular meeting, the 23rd and 30th for special meetings, all in October. And then our November meeting is scheduled for November 20th, 2025. The special meeting for October 23 is for MPB Realty ZB 22-13. No further notices will be given. If you have an interest in that application, it's being heard at the special meeting on October 23. On October 30th, we have a special meeting for Canterbury Zinnia Health at 33 Mount Pleasant Avenue. We just received confirmation that all our professionals are available. So that special meeting is confirmed. No further notice will be required.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and I'm sorry to interrupt at this point, Danielle Kimback for NPB Realty. I know you just made an announcement that will be heard at a special meeting. I just want everyone here to understand we are also proceeding tonight. Just want to make sure there's no confusion with that announcement.
Well, I was getting to that, so
Okay, all right, I apologize.
no apology needed. Just let's keep this moving. We're doing very well. Mr. Fisher, would you please administer the oath to our professionals? We have Mr. Hess and Mr. Dockney. And
Please
Ms.
raise your right hand.
Sorry, Ms. Guybaro.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right,
I do.
you're all sworn.
Okay, I'm going to make an adjustment to the order of the agenda for reasons which will soon become obvious. We move now to application ZB 25-02, Montclair Stables. Counsel, your appearance for the record.
Good evening, Chairman Joseph Wenzel, Friend and Wenzel, on behalf of Montclair Stables.
Thank you. The reason for this relocation in the agenda is we've had an issue that has come up with regard to notices for this application. Mr. Fisher has done the review. Mr. Fisher, please present your findings.
So the applicant did properly notice under the municipal land use law. They sent the certified mailings to the correct addresses with the correct notice on time. However, as far as we can tell, none of them were delivered. And they all have the same error when searching their tracking information on USPS. So I believe, Mr. Chairman, out of an abundance of caution, will you be recommending that this be renoticed and heard at a later meeting?
Yes, in light of the fact that although, the applicant is here, your attorney did his job. He did what was required under the Municipal Land Use Act in that he delivered the notices to the United States Postal Service. That's all the applicant is required to do. Fortunately for everybody who represents applicants, we don't guarantee the Postal Service. They didn't deliver close to 80 notices, which is ridiculous. Since we try to do things fairly and openly, it's unfair and unreasonable for people who are entitled to notice to not have received them. I'm sure there would have been some people here. Mr. Wenzel, do you have a problem with that?
No, Chairman, and thank you for that explanation that, we did comply with the statute. Obviously, I and none of us can control the United States Postal Service. While I could technically argue that we could proceed tonight, I do understand the board's position and the chair's position with regard to the fairness to the residents. This is an unusual application, and I believe it would be appropriate to make sure that the residents are aware completely of the circumstances here. The only thing I was going to ask for indulgence on two parts, Chair, if I may.
I apologize. Let the record reflect that Ms. Miller is present.
So, Chairman, if I can on those 2 points. Number one is that only because of this hiccup with the United States Postal Service are we not proceeding tonight. I have everybody ready, and we're ready to go on this and present it to the board. Is it possible, because of the circumstances, I'm putting this in front of Mr. Fisher, I tried to reach out to him ahead of time. I didn't get him on the phone quick enough, but since we did comply with the registered mailing under the statute, in terms of a renotice, would it be appropriate, and I almost feel more comfortable in a way, doing it by regular mail twice before the next meeting rather than doing another certified mail?
My understanding of the statute is that certified mail is required. Return receipt requested is not mandatory, but certified mail is. And I don't believe that we have the power to depart from that requirement. I understand and I appreciate your request. However, it's gonna have to be certified mail.
Okay, that was number one, and I
My,
gotta
but my,
ask.
but my suggestion is use a different post office.
I'm almost half inclined to use the old fashioned do it myself and go around knocking. Before I make my second request, Chairman, I see that one of your board members is furiously waving his hand.
He can wave his hand all he wants. Let's continue, please.
Okay,
Well,
so
it's, I have a comment. I'm just, if you sent it certified mail, over the last 8 weeks, I've sent about 20 items certified mail, of which nothing shows up in the tracking, but everybody got it. So it may just be the USPS system is not scanning. So if you send it certified mail, again, you may have the same thing. And that's, I guess the question, if it's statute saying certified, can you use priority mail or something else with the tracking?
No,
we're gonna use certified mail, and I'm gonna triple check it.
And also,
I-
Mr. Wenzel, if I may make a suggestion, when you get those little white receipts back, take a look at them because these were dated 2023, which is ridiculous. I mean,
Right.
when the post office makes a mistake, they really make a mistake.
Their
We'll eventually
stamp
get
was,
around to it.
yeah.
So, in my second request, Chairman, is, I know this is a very popular board. I know this is a very busy board, but in terms of a date,
Let me hold you because I've already looked at what we're doing. I have an opening for you on October 16th, if that's satisfactory to you and your client.
you're very kind, but I will be away. You're gonna be around? Yeah. All right, I'll tell you what, Chairman, under the circumstances, I will find coverage.
Well, I appreciate your cooperation and your clients. I can't make the announcement that no further notice will be required because the whole
Right.
purpose is for notice. So
Right.
although notices will be issued and notice has to be published also.
Oh, yes, Chairman, by the way, I completely, was gonna send a new newspaper notice.
Right. Yeah, you will do a newspaper notice.
Yeah, 100%.
Correct. So this application will be carried to the regular meeting of October 16, 2025. I have a lot of compassion for your client. I know that he's done everything right. You've done everything right. Interestingly, I have a situation where I'm negotiating a lease renewal with the Postal Service. And because I can sometimes be obnoxious, I was able to find an in-house attorney in Washington, D.C. who will get a letter from me explaining the failures of the Postal Service in this case. So I don't know if anything will come of it, but there you go.
Well, I'm sure if you add in the piece about your stenography history, they may take some action on that, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chairman.
Mr. Wenzel and your client, thank you very much for your cooperation. And again, although we weren't responsible, we do commiserate with you for this situation. Mr. Fisher and I spoke this afternoon, and in our 120 years of experience, in the first time we've ever encountered something like this. So.
Well, I'm glad to be that guy.
Next item on the agenda was listed for number one, which was ZB 24-11, Wonder Foods at 481 Eagle Rock Avenue. That application has been withdrawn. It will not be proceeding. I'm informed that that applicant has left the premises and they are no longer conducting any business at the property. Next on our agenda is ZB 24-06, Public Service Electric and Gas Company for premises at 325 Mount Pleasant Avenue. Council, do you have to let Mr. Turtletaub in?
Yeah, I don't see him on the screen yet.
Okay, Ms. Brill, would you track down Mr. Turtletaub and bring him into the panel, please? It's James Turtletaub.
I'm sorry, my sound went out for a second. I see him.
James Turtletaub.
Yep. Okay, should be coming in. Okay, should be in any second.
Up,
Amen.
there he is.
I am in.
Okay, so the record will reflect that we have Jennifer Porter for the applicant and James Turtletaub for a party in opposition. These two attorneys have been working diligently, as have their clients, in an effort to reach an accommodation so that the objections to the application can be resolved amicably between them. We've been carrying this more than we really want to, and we're going to give them one more opportunity to reach a settlement before we are required to proceed. Ms. Porter, you want to, since you're the applicant, bring me up to date?
Sure, Mr. Neuer, your summary is correct that the parties have been engaged in numerous settlement discussions over the course of the past 6 months. We continue to discuss outstanding issues to try and reach an agreement on those potential issues. At this point, we do agree with your assessment, and PSE&G is in a position to want to move this application forward. Either way, in the event that those settlement discussions prove fruitful and we are able to reach a final agreement, or in the event that we do not, because timing with respect to this application is and always has been critical. And so at this point, we would like to, again, continue our discussions, but move towards final resolution of this matter.
Mr. Turtletaub?
Good summary by all, and hopefully we'll continue our discussions. I do have some schedules from my experts that I was just got late this afternoon, which for the next hearing, in case we do have to go forward with testimony. But right now, I absolutely agree with Ms. Porter and your assessment.
I'm looking at our meetings for October 16th and November 20th, which do not leave much room for you. My request is whether or not we should attempt to set a special for this in November. Ms. Porter?
We would be happy for the board's consideration of a special meeting.
Mr. Turtletaub?
I have no problem with that. If you can give me the dates, I will try to make sure my experts are clear.
I can't get dates right now. I have to first check with the members of the board to determine whether or not we're going to have our third special meeting in a month and a half, which is really yeoman work. And we'll communicate with you by email and text. We can't put a date on right now, but we will let's put it on the agenda for November 20th is the end of the month. Put on the agenda for October 16th, at which point we can announce the night, whether or not there'll be a special meeting and the date. So, but application ZB 24-06 public service is carried to the meeting of October 16th, not for the taking of testimony or presentation of evidence, but simply to determine whether or not we're going to have a special meeting in November.
Mr. Neuer, thank you for your time, as well as Ms. Porter and the entire board for it's working with us to try to hopefully resolve this.
And we appreciate the efforts that both counsel and their clients have put into this rather complex matter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Just let me bear with me. The next item is MPB, but before we get to it, let me announce that on the agenda is ZB 24-12, which is Canterbury Zinnia Health. We've made the announcement that there will be a special meeting for that application on October 30th. Waystone Realty, 42 Eagle Ridge Way. Is Miss Triolo here?
Ms. Trillo is not here, but this is Vincent Ferrer appearing on her behalf with the firm Bidiger Elias Trillo and Deal for Waystone Realty LLC.
Right. What's your request?
At this time, we're simply requesting a date for a special meeting regarding this matter.
We're gonna have a hard time doing that because as I just announced, in October, we have 3 meetings in a row, which is 2 specials. We have a special sometime in November. Unless you can give me a compelling reason why you need something before our December meeting, I'm gonna carry you to the December meeting.
At this time, I have the authority to recommend November 6th to 13th, if at all possible, but I appreciate that there's a very robust dossier. So I leave my request at the mercy of Mr. Chairman.
Well, I have no mercy, but I can tell you that the other applications where we're dealing with specials and on the agenda are earlier applications than yours. I would like to accommodate you. I was looking at October 16th until what just happened, which was totally unsuspected with regard to the application with the notices. Diana, what's the date of the December meeting?
The date of the December meeting is December 18th.
December 18th. Mr.
Correct.
Ferrer, what I will do is I will communicate with the other board members, see if anybody has, see how many people will be willing to do another special in November. And if I can get enough, if I can get a quorum, and if I can get our professionals, I will let your office know. The only negative for you is that you would have to do notices, because I can't give you a firm date today.
Understood and appreciated.
Although, wait a minute, let me carry you to October 16th also, and then we can put it on the record if we can do a special. You're carried to October 16th with the understanding that I'm looking at the December 18th meeting for you. But if we can create a special meeting for you, we'll announce it on the 16th of October. Is that
Understood,
good?
Chairman.
Is that good for you?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. So that's Eagle Ridge Way. And stable. Okay, thank you so much for your cooperation, Mr. Ferrer. So the only thing that I haven't covered so far is MPB Realty, which, as council pointed out, is being heard tonight in addition to the special meeting scheduled in October 23rd. Council, your appearance for the record.
Thank you, Chairman. Danielle Kimback from the firm of Prime Tuvella Maselli on behalf of MPB Realty LLC.
Thank you and welcome back, Ms. Kimbeck. You were here before on this application.
I was, yes.
Right. I show a meeting of March 20th. Were you here on June 16th?
I don't believe I was. I think I was here in March.
Yeah, you were here March 20th, and then July 31st, we had Mr. Wine.
That's correct.
And those were the only 2 meetings on this application, correct?
Yeah, those were the only 2 hearings where testimony was presented.
Okay, and on my list, we have already marked for identification exhibits A1, A2, and A3. And Mr. Grimaldi referred to something called PV-1. The floor is yours, Ms. Kimbeck.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. Again, Danielle Kimback on behalf of MPB Realty LLC. As the chairman gave in his overview, this is the third hearing on this application. It's an application for preliminary and final major site plan approval, D3 conditional use approval and variance relief, bulk variance and design waiver relief. The property that is the subject of the application is located at 470 Eagle Rock Avenue and designated as block 153, lot 38 on the township tax map. So at the conclusion of our last hearing, we were still presenting the testimony of our architect, Mr. Robert Grimaldi. He just has a few brief points to finish up on his testimony. So that's where we're going to pick up tonight. Yes.
Just one question, Ms. Kimbeck. At the meeting on July 31st, a member of the public questioned your engineer and discussed with Mr. Wine section 25-11.14J of the ordinance, which requires a minimum lot size of 5 acres for a drive-through. Did Mr. Wine discuss that with you?
Yes, he did. So Mr. Warner from Alex Fisher's office also communicated with Mr. Wine on the issue. There is an additional bulk variance necessary due to that provision of the ordinance. Our planner submitted an updated planning report, and she will also address it when she presents her testimony. But we've reviewed the ordinance and we agree it's additional bulk variance. Mr. Warner reviewed our notice and agreed that it would be covered by our catch-all provision and additional notice would not be required.
And you're requesting a minor amendment to the application to include that additional bulk variance.
Yes, if that is necessary, we do request that.
The amendment is granted. Please
Thank you,
continue.
Mr. Chairman. So I'd like to bring back our architect, Mr. Robert Grimaldi. I see his camera's on. So Mr. Grimaldi was previously sworn in and qualified as an expert in architecture. Mr. Grimaldi, you remain under oath, and is your license still current and in good standing?
Yes, it is.
There's been some time elapsed. We still accept him as an expert as long as all of his credentials are the same?
They still remain intact, yes.
Okay, Mr. Fisher, would you administer the oath once again, please?
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
All right, you are under oath.
So Mr. Grimaldi, at the last hearing, you presented the architectural plans that you prepared. You reviewed all the elevations to the proposed revisions, modifications to the building. And where I believe we left off, we are seeking 2 variances related to building facade signage. And while you did show the signs on the elevations, we did not get to go into the quantification of the signage, which is where the variance relief is needed.
Yes.
So if you just want to give a brief overview of the plans to reacquaint the board and then explain the signage variances.
Yes, and if we recall the last meeting, we had the 5-minute countdown to get it in under the wire. So I did briefly run through all the exterior. But in general, again, we're demoing a small portion off of the front of the building. That square footage is basically the same as the addition that we're adding to the back of the building to square it off. The easterly portion of the building is going to be occupied by Popeyes, the westerly by IHOP. And one of the variances obviously is because of the drive-through window of the Popeyes. Basically, the square footage is remaining the same to what it is out there today. And the other variance that we were talking about is because we have a number of signs on the building, which is part and parcel of having the 2 uses in there and a number of signs to go along with that. The one on the PB1 that the chairman referenced has the floor plan and the elevation, and this is the same as what's been distributed to the board, so there's no other need to identify it except that it's in the same packet that you have. On this front elevation, on the left side, you have the Popeyes Louisiana Chicken restaurant with the Popeyes Louisiana Chicken graphics up on the top and their stylized chicken logo to the left of their entrance. The right-hand side of the building is the IHOP with their gable roofs, their logo of the IHOP, a little indicator over the secondary door for their IHOP to go, the pancake on wheels. This is already conceded that we're not going to have the 24-hour clock on there, but we did not resubmit because just for maintaining and not having any confusion of what was the drawings, we understand that this is coming off. We've agreed to that already, but we left it on the building again, just so that we didn't have revisions flying back and forth and possibly confusing the situation. The other three sides of the building, again, the top right is the easterly elevation, and it just has a Popeyes up across the top. Alongside the drive-through window, at a lower level towards the car height level, is the famous Louisiana Chicken logo. Now, the Popeyes above is internally illuminated, but the famous Louisiana Chicken is just basically an applique that sits on the facing of the building with no internal illumination, and it's just basically a white Lexan cutout that makes up that sign. In the middle of the page is the right-hand side elevation, the westerly elevation, and again, we have this same similar IHOP logo, slightly justified towards the front of the building, over the blue awnings on that side of the building. And on this page, the rear elevation of the building has no signage whatsoever. I can also bring up the rendered elevations so you get a sense of the color palette and how
And this was previously marked A3 at the last hearing, I believe.
I believe that's correct.
Yes, colored elevation, 2 pages.
Yep. And this is of the front and the west side. And this would be of the rear and the easterly side. And again, in general, the rest of the signs have an internal illumination. Overall, they're not individually large, but again, with the number of them, I do believe we are over the number of signs that are allowed, and we are slightly over the overall square footage that is allowed.
I believe we're over on the square footage on the Popeyes, and the 120 square feet is for each use. With IHOP, the signs combined are under 120 square feet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, but the total is above the limit?
I believe the ordinance gives a quantification for each use. So the IHOP is within the permitted 120 square feet. The Popeyes is slightly over at, I believe, 139 square feet.
I know Mr. Matt from Dynamic had, Matt Birch had, I believe, the sign chart on his drawings that we had gone through.
That's accurate. That's what I have in my review as well. One facade sign per business is permitted, where they've got 8 total, 4 for each business. Although with the removal of the 24 hours, it's 3 for the IHOP, and then the maximum size per sign is 120 square feet, where they're at 139 for the Popeyes front facade sign. So, but that just testified to matches what I have, at least in terms of the variances required.
So that's where we're at with the signage and with the overall elevations of the building.
I don't have anything further from Mr. Grimaldi.
Let's, okay. starting with members of the board. Mr. Barbie, any questions for the witness based on his testimony?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Mr. Cohen?
I just have a question. Do you guys really think that the ordinance would double the amount of sign usage for a piece of property if there are two tenants?
So I think our planner will get more into the variance relief, but from what I'm reading in the ordinance, each permitted use or unit of occupancy may have a sign located on or attached to the principal facade. And such sign shall not exceed an area equal to 15% of the front wall area, or 120 square feet. So, you know, it's contemplating a sign for each use or occupant.
So if there were 4 occupants, you could quadruple the usage?
Well, Larry, that's what the ordinance says. And take a look over at Essex Green or the Whole Foods shopping centers. Those have extensive signage because of the different uses.
Thank you.
Next question.
That's it. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Miller?
Not a question about the signage, but I just wanted to confirm that the rooftop mechanicals will be properly screened.
Yes. Yes, and actually, we were just reviewing the existing conditions the other day at a prep meeting, and they're right now basically on the southern side of the existing building and completely exposed to the entire neighborhood. That will not be the case here. The majority of the roof will have somewhere between 36 to 54-inch parapets, depending on the slopes. So,
Thank you. No more questions.
Mr. Schwarzbaum?
No questions.
Thank you. Ms. Weiss?
None, thank you.
Mr. Sussman?
No questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Nanamiller?
I have one question on the graphic display that's on the screen right now on the lower side, which I believe is the western facing side towards residential. Is that IHOP above the windows also internally illuminated?
yes.
Thank you. That's my only question.
Thank you. Dr. Benzvig?
You overlooked Mr. Scott, but I don't have any questions.
I'll get to you in the proper order, Mr. Scott. Dr. Benzvig?
Okay, thank you. You discussed last time regarding the addition in the back. You said that you're installing that, and I quote, to work more efficiently. How would that addition will make the building more efficient?
Oh, okay, absolutely. Let me bring up the plan again. This is generally the corner that we're talking about right here. And again, this is approximately the same square footage that we're taking off the front of the building. We could have proposed to have the cooler box to the exterior, which they do in many prototypes. And if we just put the whole box outside, it would be easier to do. We could double it up as a square, but again, we are in a situation where we are with residential behind us. It just made it more efficient to do the straight run with the cooler box, square it off, have it internal, not external, and allow the rest of the kitchen to function properly. And again, the storage, it's basically storage that the majority of that addition and the utility rooms and part of the bathroom. So with other prototypes, we could have pushed the cooler box out. We could have left additional items to be on the surface of the rear of the building. this way, everything's inside. Our efficiency from a layout and a function inside, that's what I was referencing. And it gives this a cleaner presentation. Yeah, it's the backside of the building, but it doesn't look like the backside. It's finished just as any other side of the building.
Okay, thank you. You said last time, and you also repeated actually right now, about enclosing all our services inside the building, but the delivery will still be outside. The trucks, we heard testimony that the trucks will do delivery for hours. They'll be idle, engine on, outside. Is that correct? So it's not all everything is inside the building.
Yeah, I don't know of any restaurant that has a loading dock for deliveries.
I was just referring to your statements, but all our services will be inside the building, what you said last time.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess the definition of our services, our delivery services, obviously we get deliveries, but if I misrepresented that, it was not my intention to give you idea that our deliveries would be internal. No.
Okay, thank you. You described the staircase to the second floor and the small second floor area. Will that be removed, the staircase or the second floor? It wasn't clear to me.
Yes, well, that was a while ago, but yes, that was the very beginning of my testimony. There currently is a staircase with a second floor area that was a office and pseudo bedrooms, and none of that will be, there will not be any second floor. There will not be any uses of this property that are not prescribed and not shown on these drawings. But that was just what was in place at the site currently.
Okay, thank you. And my last question is related to the signage that you described last time and also today. And indeed, I also reviewed the code that there's one facade sign per business, but here 8 are proposed. Is there any architectural value in having 4 signs per business?
Well, let's just look at the front facade. And I don't think these, and obviously there's a little bias. Across the front face, we have the IHOP sign. We need an indication of the business, and a relatively proportion sized sign over the door that the delivery people will be coming in. So that is more utilitarian. Yes, it's advertising, but it's utilitarian to direct the people to come in the proper door to pick up their food. The Popeyes, it's their name. Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, and this is again a stylized graphic of a chicken. It's not verbiage, it's not screaming at you. It actually has kind of a halo lit at night, so it's not like your big plastic box. It's a simulated wood with a halo lit. It's somewhat tasteful, I would say, for a fast food facility. And the signs on the side, again, the Westerly, a very moderately sized IHOP on the western face, and the other 2 signs for the Popeyes are basically there to stand out, to show that the drive-through is there. And that's the easterly face facing towards the other commercial property.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. DeBovi.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. You had mentioned that there won't be any signage at the rear of the building. Is that correct?
There's no building mounted signage on the rear of the building at all, no.
Okay. Will there be illumination at the rear of the building?
There typically will have the security pack over the back doors. just, and as they're shown right here, just over the two back doors. Just so that during business hours, if somebody walks out the back door, they have illumination. And all that, I believe, Mr. Birch testified as far as our lighting levels throughout the whole parking lot. These will be less than whatever the parking lot lighting will be. And of course, these will be off when the business is off.
Okay. I clearly have missed it, but where will the menu board be for the drive-through?
It's more exactly shown on the civils, but yes, they'll be generally in, hang on, let me zoom back in. They'll be generally in this back area right here.
So, for people to be able to see that, I would imagine that the menu board will be illuminated, no?
The menu boards are digital, so it's basically looking at your computer screen.
Right, right.
They have the same technology as if, like, when you walk outside with your iPhone and such, the lights change so that you cut the glare. So they have the light sensing in the monitors.
How big is the menu board going to be?
Again, I believe those are on, the details are on the civils drawing, so I wouldn't want to misrepresent them, but basically it's a 3-panel system, but I believe they have the details on their drawings.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Scott.
Thank you. I do have some questions now. Regarding the building, if you've gone through this, I don't remember from the last meeting. I don't think you did. I don't think the question was raised. Will you be using or planning to use any energy efficient building materials, such as low embodied carbon materials like recycled steel, bamboo, or reclaimed wood?
Steel, yes. Bamboo, there actually, I believe, is some in the interior finishes. But let me generally give you an idea of what's some of these items that will help you. Most of the kitchen equipment meets high efficiency. We have to still meet a lot of the energy rating. Not a lot. We have to meet all the energy ratings that are required by code. And it's obviously also just in the nature of the business to have as efficient equipment as possible, because we all love our electric bills. So all the equipment is very high efficiency inside, as well as from an electrical standpoint, as well as gas and just water usage as well. A majority of the siding products and all, there's a lot of that are either Nietzsche panel and or James Hardie panel, which are composite panels made up of recycled paper, cementatious based products. They're basically a concrete composite siding and pieces, as well as even the cultured stone has a lot of recycled material in it. That's across the whole front and side of the IHOP as well.
Okay. And perhaps you can answer this. For the air conditioning, what kind of technology do you plan on using? Because will they be mufflered, or is that already planned? Because industrial air conditioning can be quite disturbing.
I want to say, and I don't have it off the top of my head, and I believe we have an acoustic engineer coming on either tonight or at the next meeting. But no, our units are all stated as high efficiency, and with that, usually rather than your off-the-shelf regular unit that you may just throw in a warehouse someplace, we are doing high efficiency units that, just by the nature of the efficiency of the unit, the dB levels are lower than, again, something that what the unit you're going to throw on a warehouse someplace, that you don't need the efficiencies for this. So
I'm also concerned about the sound, the actual noise. I understand you said their efficiency, but I'm concerned
No,
about
no,
the
but yes, so I'm saying, since the units are not just regular standard efficient units, you know, it's the same thing when, yeah, the difference between a Chevy and a Cadillac. They're all a car, but once you step up to that, well, the sound quality and everything else is better in the Cadillac. With these units, and again, the acoustic engineer will speak about what the levels are at. They typically have a lower decibel level than your standard units, even though the efficiency is in reference to the energy consumption, but just by the nature of a higher class unit, the decibel levels are a little less than your standard unit.
Okay. And can you tell me how many feet from the soundboard is the closest residence?
Hold on just 1 second, please. Mr. Cohen, you need to have your camera on if you want to be able to participate in this application. Thank you. Please
I'm
continue.
I'm sorry, how close is,
From the how many feet from is the soundboard from the nearest residence?
the menu board?
Yeah, the soundboard, yes, the menu board.
I think one of our other presenters will have a more precise answer for you for that.
Okay. And are you anticipating any type of solar use for the roof? Solar
No.
power?
No, just because the nature of the clearances that the solar companies usually want to our equipment that's on the roof, you get a very little viable footprint on the roof then.
Okay. And my final question, are you using any of the standards from and then could you tell us about them from the Green Restaurant Association, Green Restaurant Association certification?
I'm not exactly sure of those standards. We do work in many different locations that we have to go with various levels of it. But again, our cooking equipment, which is our biggest electric draw and energy consumption draw, they're all high efficiency units. Again, the materials on the outside of the building definitely have recycled components in them. As far as meeting a certain specification from a certain group, I can't testify to that, no.
Okay, and just one other question. I know that we're talking about the building itself, but how high a fence or wall are you looking to have for the back of the building between the parking lot and the nearest residence?
How tall is the fence at the back property line?
Yes.
Again, I'll reference to the engineer, but I believe the reference was a 6-foot fence. But I would also leave it up to Matt Bursch and Dynamic to correct me with that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Grimaldi, with respect to the menu board, is that treated as a sign under our ordinance?
I don't think we've calculated that into the sign with that, and again, I would leave that to the civil to answer that question.
I'm sorry, you leave it to who?
This to Matt Bursch, the civil engineer, because again, he has, I believe, the sign tabulation on his drawing.
Yeah, that has not come up in a review so far.
I didn't think it was part of it, but I wasn't sure.
Doesn't mean I can't ask the question. And
Oh,
it
yeah,
doesn't-
no.
No, it's something to consider, and I'm digging into the code also as we're going through this.
Thank you, Daniel.
And my intention was not to deflect, just that I wasn't sure of the answer if it was on the tabulation or not. I didn't think it was.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yes.
And we still have planning testimony to present, so we can look into that before we present that testimony.
I know, but I'm trying to deal with what the engineer didn't and what the architect so far didn't. You didn't tell us about any monument signs. Will there be any monument signs on the property?
I believe the engineer testified that there's an existing one, and I believe we're going back into the relatively the same location with relatively the same size sign.
That would be a pylon sign. I'm
The
talking about
pylon sign,
monument
yes.
signs.
Yeah, there is one proposed freestanding sign. It's in the civil plan set and it does comply with the height and size requirements.
Okay, but let's go one more time. There are things known as monument signs, also directional signs. Are there any additional signages other than the ones we've just talked about? The pylon and the facade signs?
I'd have to relook at the engineer's drawings.
Please do.
Yeah, I don't think we have any directional signs beyond, the order canopy.
Other than what?
I'm just looking at the plans as if there's an order canopy here. Yeah, the civil plans show the drive-through canopy that's typical of the drive-through use.
Was that counted as signage?
I don't believe it was, and we can look, but I mean, there's no text. It's just a clear, and there's a clearance bar.
Let's try and have the witness answer the questions, please. Mr. Grimaldi,
It's just, wasn't under Mr. Grimaldi's purview. They're on the civil plans.
Yes, and I'm looking at the date of, I just tried to open the one drawing, for some reason it's corrupt. And the one before that, I think is it's too far back right now. Do we have anybody from Dynamic that could pull up that site plan?
I think we did submit an updated site plan with a few changes based on some comments and requests from the last hearing. And we're going to bring up our traffic engineer at some point. He may be able to address this signage, or we'll bring up Dynamic later to address them.
If I can jump in really quick to the chairman's first question about the menu board signs, your code does allow 2 menu board signs per drive-through window, a maximum of 24 square feet each. And I just double checked their signs. They are at about 18 square feet, or the one sign is 18 square feet, give or take a few inches.
I can't understand who's speaking.
Sorry, that's Chris Dockney, your planner.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Then their menu board sign is in compliance with your ordinance, at least in terms of the size.
Mr. Grimaldi, do the awnings have lettering on them?
No.
Is the building compliant with LEED's LEEDS requirements?
Not specifically, no. I'm also not a registered lead architect, so.
Okay. Danielle, anything on redirect?
No, I have nothing for Mr. Grimaldi.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Dockney. Do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't believe I have any further questions of the architect.
I'm sorry. Mr. Grimaldi, is there a drawing you can refer to that show us where the rooftop units are being mounted?
I did not produce a roof plan for this presentation.
Well, don't you think it's important for us to know where those units are going to be located?
I would, in a general state, we didn't progress to that portion of it yet, since this is a custom building, but generally I will tell you that the rooftop units are with the plan that is showed on the drawings right now, the rooftop units would be, if you split the roof into thirds, 1/3, they would be from the back parapet, 1/3 up, and then 1/3 of the roof between the units, the rear units and the front units, and then about 1/3 of the roof space from the front facade to the front unit.
Are they closer to the south, east, west, or north?
So if this is the length of your building, cut the roof into thirds, there'd be a line of units approximately there and a line of units here.
I don't know where there is. Nothing is showing up on the screen. If you're moving a cursor, it's showing up.
1 second, I apologize. Let me just make this thicker. Approximately there. That would be splitting up the roof into thirds. So you'd have clear space of a third of the roof towards the back. The area where your units would be, a third between them, the area of the units, and then a third to the front elevation.
Let's try it again. Where will the rooftop units be located?
Approximately 15 to 20 feet from the back parapet, approximately 15 to 20 feet from the front parapet, equally spaced on the roof.
Nothing in the middle?
Well, again, 15 to 20 feet from the back, 15 to 20 feet from the front, and this would be the area of the rooftop units in the middle, yes. And they're typically 10 feet off of all the sides as well.
And how high would the parapet wall be?
As I just testified, it would probably vary in the range of 36 to 54 inches.
Will that be on 3 of the 4 sides or all 4?
I don't want to answer you incorrectly. The roof would be sloping generally towards the back, but we may do, because again, we may use some additional portions of the structure of the building, so I may end up pitching it to the outside rather than just to the rear. But again, depending on which way we pitch it, the slopes would be, the parapets would be in the neighborhood of 36 at a minimum to 54, and the 54 would just be in the minimal spaces because you really are not, you don't want to go over 42 without having a second kick on the back of the roof. So,
Well, when can we expect drawings that show that?
if you would like a roof design, we could design the roof. That's typically not something that we're asked at the planning board.
Well, did you read the acoustical engineer's report?
We've reviewed it on conference calls. No, I didn't sit and read the whole thing.
So there are discussions with respect to the rooftop and discussions with respect to whether or not anything to block the noise would be required. And you haven't given us a drawing. I'm concerned about noise emanating from the roof. And I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm telling you right now, I think it's incomplete. So that's the end of my questioning with respect to that item. Mr. Hess, do you have any questions for the?
Could I answer that?
Sure. When do you think we'll have a drawing?
Well, could I answer what you were referencing?
Surely.
If there's the recommendations from the acoustical engineer that this board deems acceptable, we will make sure that we follow his guidelines in laying out the equipment to meet his layout, to meet his requirements within his report. But as well as you're asking for a roof design, we will also provide you with that.
Thank you. Going back to Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have, Mr. Grimaldi, I do have one question. One of the submission requirements in the ordinance is a sustainability checklist form. There was one submitted with the application, but it doesn't list any of the applicant's proposals for complying with the requirements on the checklist. Can you please look at that and get a checklist to the board so that we know exactly what you're proposing in terms of the building?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And since we do have a date for the next hearing, that would have to be submitted at least 10 days before our next hearing. Because that is a checklist requirement, which has not been complied with by the applicant. Anything else, Mr. Hess?
That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's take the share screen down for the moment. We may have to put it back up. Members of the public, this is your opportunity to ask questions of the witness based upon his testimony at this meeting and at the prior meeting. Kindly raise your hand so that you can be recognized. This is for asking questions, not for making statements or presenting your own evidence. Please raise your hand so that you can be recognized. Ms. Brill?
Yes, we have Kevin Malanga. Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Ms. Brill. Kevin Malanga, Ridge Road. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Good evening, Mr. Malanga.
Mr. Grimaldi, when you designed this building, did you design it with an eye towards how deliveries would be made? That is, deliveries of the foodstuffs that would be prepared here at the restaurants.
With that in mind, knowing how our deliveries are set, we can take deliveries basically either through the back doors or the front doors. And I believe the other professionals have given testimony as far as the timing goes, but they can be pulled through the front or the back.
All right. So this restaurant is not designed with respect to a preference or a leaning towards deliveries from the front of the building or deliveries from the back of the building?
No, I mean, usually the logistics, and I try to make sure that my building doesn't hinder what the civil engineers can come up with. So if I can make it that you could take deliveries in either location, then it gives them the freedom to work out the delivery logistics with their site. So yes, we can take the deliveries through the southern doors or the northern doors.
So the site plan engineer testified that the deliveries would be made from the northern doors, that is the front of the building. Is that correct?
I believe that was his testimony, yes.
And is that method going to be the method that the restaurants agree to utilize, or is it at their option as to how to take deliveries?
I believe that was basically part of the engineer's testimony, that the deliveries would be through the front.
Yeah, I believe the applicant agreed to limit the large overnight deliveries to the front.
All right, so that would be a condition of approval, is that right?
Yes, and I think the engineer testified that the smaller box truck can go in a parking space, but the large overnight deliveries will only be in the front.
I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malanga.
Thank you, sir.
Members of the public, kindly raise your hand if you'd like to be recognized to ask some questions.
I'm not seeing any hands yet.
Going once, going twice. Any questioners? Thank
Nope.
you all. Thank you all very much. I think I asked you this question. Ms. Kimbeck, do you have any redirect?
No, not for Mr. Grimaldi.
Okay, let's move along with your next witness, please.
Okay, the next witness is our acoustical engineer, Mr. Michael Dick.
Thank you, board.
Mr. Fisher, do you want to swear in Mr. Dick?
Yeah. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Do we get an answer, Mr. Dick?
Yeah, I didn't hear you, Michael.
Yeah,
I
can
don't
you
know.
hear me?
Oh, now I
Yeah.
can, yes.
I said I do.
All right, you're under oath.
Thank you. Mr. Dick, can you please provide the board with your professional and educational background?
Yes. I'm a project manager at Lewis Goodfriend and Associates. I've been with the firm for 9 years. I have a bachelor's degree in acoustical engineering from the University of Hartford. I am a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My license is current and in good standing. I'm board certified by the Institute of Noise Control Engineering, and I've completed the Rutgers Community Noise Enforcement Certification, which is referenced in the state noise code.
And Michael, have you been qualified as an expert in acoustical engineering before land use boards in New Jersey before?
Yes, I have.
And you've testified in front of boards similar to this one in New Jersey?
Yes.
Does the board accept Mr. Dick's qualifications?
Mr. Dick is accepted as an expert in the field of acoustical engineering. Please continue. Ms. Kenbeck.
Thank you. Mr. Dick, you prepared a report in support of this application, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and can you please describe to the board the evaluations you and your firm conducted and the analysis you did with respect to the noise that may be generated from the proposed uses?
I'm sorry, Ms. Kenbeck, let's identify the date of his report because there are more than one.
Okay, since Mr. Wine and I have been tag teaming, Michael, I have a report dated February 3rd, 2025. Is that the latest report?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's the report you will be testifying to tonight.
Correct.
Thank you.
So the site operations are subject to the NJDEP state noise regulations. For residential receiving properties, it has limits of 65 dBA during daytime hours and 50 dBA at nighttime hours for continuous sound. And the daytime hours are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and nighttime is 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. As part of our evaluation, we visited the site and performed a set of 24-hour ambient sound level measurements to quantify the existing ambient conditions at the site. We also calculated the expected sound levels at the adjacent residential properties with the primary noise sources of the site, which included the intercom system for the menu board, the rooftop HVAC equipment, and truck deliveries, which include refrigeration. We evaluated at the property line as well as at the upper story windows. And for each location that's in our report, we reported the highest of those locations between the property line and the upper stories. The intercom system will include automatic volume control. So it's self-adjusting based on the ambient level. And for the rooftop equipment, for each restaurant, we included 2 rooftop air handling units, 2 kitchen exhaust fans, and 1 bathroom exhaust fan. And for the menu board, the rooftop equipment, and truck deliveries simultaneously, our calculated sound levels met the nighttime limit of 50 dBA at the adjacent residential properties. And although the customer vehicles are specifically exempt from the state noise code, we did evaluate trucks idling in the drive-through lane. And with 8 cars idling, the levels that we calculated were also below 50 dBA, although that's not a limit that would actually apply. And further, the ambient sound levels that we measured, the 30-minute average sound levels over the 24-hour period ranged from 46 dBA to 60 dBA. And we are close to the lower end of that range from cars idling. I understand there was questions about trash pickup as well. Trash pickup, I believe the engineer testified that that would only occur during daytime hours. And we did model trash pickup as well, which would be below the daytime limit of 65 dBA.
And Michael, you heard the chairman's questions of the architect regarding potential placement of the rooftop equipment. Is what Mr. Grimaldi testified to consistent with the analysis you performed?
So we haven't received a roof plan with the unit location, so we did make some assumptions regarding the location. We can update our model once we get an actual layout. We also use typical restaurant HVAC equipment in our analysis, but if we get equipment selections, we can update our model with that as well.
Did Mr. Grimaldi say anything tonight that you think would impact the conclusions in your report?
No, and like I said, we used typical conservative equipment in our model, and if there will be high efficient equipment selected that could have noise control included, then they can potentially be even lower than what we calculated.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions for Michael.
Members of the board, Mr. Scott?
No questions at this time.
Mr. DeBovi?
Yes, thank you. As far as the menu board is concerned, what is the distance from the menu board to the south property line?
The engineer can probably give a more exact number, but I think it's approximately 30, 35 feet.
In your evaluation of sound levels, did you measure the sound levels that will be generated by the menu board? And if you did, how do they compare with the township code or the NJDEP's requirements for maximum sound levels to be generated?
So we didn't measure the menu board, but we did utilize manufacturer's data for the proposed system. That was included in our model. And like I said, that and the HVAC equipment and the truck refrigeration simultaneous would be within the NJDEP limit of 50 dBA for nighttime operation.
Okay. I was looking at your report, and it indicates that the intercom system restricts the output to 15 decibels above the ambient sound level. And then you further indicate that the intercom loudspeakers will have a sound output of up to 76 decibels. So did you just say it was going to be 50 decibels, or did I did not hear you correctly?
So that's 76 dBA at 1 foot from the loudspeaker. The 50 dBA limit is at or within the residential property line.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. I did not see so you mentioned though that output is restricted to 15 above the ambient sound level. What is, you may have said it already, but can I ask you to repeat what the ambient sound level amount is?
So it varies. If you're looking at how loud it's going to get, generally, I can tell you the L10 sound levels, that's the level that's exceeded 10% of the time. So it's kind of representative of like intermittent sounds. It's not quite the maximum, but it's like the higher end of the sounds. So the 30-minute L10s ranged from 47 to 60 dBA. So 15 above 60 would be 75.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Generally, most of the time it's gonna be controlled by the car idling. That's what's driving that 76 that we estimated. But it's also based on, the ambient that we measured.
Are you saying that you feel that the idling of cars will generate a higher decibel level than the sound coming out of the speakers that are pointed directly at the residential houses?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Apologize, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I don't
Yeah,
want
I'm just saying the ambient that's going to be driving the automatic volume control of the loudspeaker is, it's the car is going to be idling next to the speaker, so that's going to be the main ambient source that the loudspeaker is experiencing, if that makes sense. It's self-adjusting based on the ambient, and that's going to be what's usually that's going to be the loudest thing to the loudspeaker.
Okay. So you told me that the distance of the board from the south, I'm going back to the question I asked, was 30 to 35 feet. Do you know what the code set, what the township code says the distance should be?
I don't. I do believe there is an ordinance, but it's outside of my acoustical expertise, so I don't have that number.
All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeBowie. Mr. Dennemiller.
No, Mr. Dick, thank you for exceeding our minimum on your analyses. The idling is a good perspective. I appreciate that. I have no questions.
Pardon me. I said I had no questions at the moment. I do have one question for Mr. Dick. Could you briefly, for edification of the public, walk us through your modeling process so that people understand how you came about your information for modeling?
Sure. We use a computer software called SoundPlan, and it calculates the sound levels based on the ISO standard for outdoor sound propagation. And based on the sound plan or the site plan and all of our anticipated noise sources, it takes into account distances and shielding and reflection of buildings and other structures, and air absorption, and attenuation due to ground absorption, and it does those calculations based on that ISO standard, and we can evaluate at various receiver locations, and based on the sources and all of those things, that lets us calculate the expected sound levels at those receiver locations.
Okay, so when you discuss modeling, again, this is for edification of the West Orange public, you're discussing a computer program, a software program, not actually going to the site and conducting sound exams. Is that right?
Well, we did visit the site to perform ambient sound level measurements just to get an idea of the existing sound levels at the site. But we obviously these sources that we're talking about aren't there yet, so we aren't able to go measure them at this point.
Exactly. No, that's why I wanted that out there. And of the things you mentioned, you didn't mention, because there's supposed to be an outdoor seating section, I believe, for the IHOP. Did you factor in ambient noise from customers?
We did not. The human voice is exempt from the noise code.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Sussman. Your microphone's open.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions at this time.
Thank you. Mrs. Weiss.
Hi, thank you. I'm impressed that all of my board members understand all the wording and the understanding of what this gentleman just said. Truthfully, I don't. So what I'd like to know is, if there were no drive-throughs, no boards, no car idling, would you say, as a noise expert, the noise of two restaurants would be 50%, 60, 70, 80% less? What would your guesstimate be? And
So-
I'm not interested, by the way, in all the decibel stuff, because truthfully, I'm just interested if I lived next door, am I going to hear it when it's quiet at night, that type of thing? And what's the difference without drive-throughs? Thank you.
So from our evaluation, the primary, what was mostly driving the property line sound levels was the HVAC equipment. So, which is going to be there for any restaurant use, whether there's
on the roof.
right. So the intercom or the menu board and the truck, their car idling. Well, as I said, the car idling is not subject to the noise code limits, but the menu board is not really contributing all that much. It's much lower than the sound from the HVAC equipment. So it's really not making that much of a difference. If you have a report, we have a table of the expected sound levels, and there's a column that's HVAC only, and then there's a column that's HVAC and intercom. And if you look at those levels, they're the same because the intercom is so much lower that it's not really contributing at that point.
Well, you also have the traffic flow and do you take into account the noise level when it's during the day and there's a lot of traffic on the main street as opposed to quieter at night?
So like I said, we did 24-hour ambient measurements. So those ranges of sound levels I was talking about for the ambient, that includes the lowest levels that we measured at night when there's less traffic.
Okay, thank you for now.
Thank you, Mrs. Weiss. Mr. Schwarzbaum.
You visited the site as you testified. So the existing HVAC equipment, I know it's not operational. Can you use your computer modeling to compare what's there and what the noise level would be using that equipment, which I assume was quite old, versus the new equipment?
If somebody was
The 6-foot tall vinyl fence needs to be installed so that there are no gaps. Is that correct?
yes.
Can you require the site engineer to put a note on the plan requiring that to be completed as part of construction?
I'm sorry, the note would be to
Exactly,
require the six-
exactly what's in the report, that the fence will have no gaps.
Yeah, we can add that note to the plans. That's our intent.
Great, thank you, Danielle. Now, I know you've told all of us that the idling of cars is not part of the sound requirements from the state, correct?
Right.
Okay. I'm a basic street kid from Brooklyn. I don't care what the regulations say. I care about what my neighbors are going to think when they're 30 feet away at 1 o'clock in the morning, excuse me, at midnight, and activities are going on this property. What's the number of cars in the queue?
8.
If you reduce that to 4 cars, would it reduce the amount of sound, regardless of whether it's covered by the regulations or not?
Yes.
Did you make any recommendations with regard to reducing the length of the queue?
No. If fewer noise sources means less noise, but that's not a recommendation I made because that's what was proposed. And
So
you know,
it's not,
it's arbitrary to say that if you reduce it, it's going to be quieter. That's true of anything.
that's not arbitrary, that's true.
It is true.
Reduce the number of sources, you just said it, you reduce the noise.
Of course, of
Learn
course.
it. Unfortunately, I don't live next door, so, but I am worried about my neighbors here in West Orange. Your report states that you focused on the comfort and safety of others. Do you believe that the noise levels, which go above the minimums, when you consider the idling vehicles and everything else, goes above the maximums? Does that take care of the comfort of the people in the neighborhood?
According to the state noise regulation, yes.
I'm not talking about the state noise regulations. I'm talking about you as a human being if you had to live next door.
I mean, it's subjective. That's why there's a code.
No, it's subjective because that's real life. Your report states that what you studied was the operation of the proposed rooftop units, the drive-through intercom, and the truck refrigeration unit. That's all. Correct?
Correct.
And you didn't prepare an analysis comparing those noise levels with the noise levels that would have been generated by the single restaurant which operated on that property for over 2 decades.
Correct.
Okay. Are you able to share your screen, sir?
I should be able to.
Megan, would you make sure he's able? I appreciate that.
Yes, he has capability.
Great. Please bring up your report, the one that's dated February 3, 2025. Great, thank you. Would you go to page 7, please? Now, describe what's up on the screen, please.
This is an aerial view of the site with the site plan overlaid and our measurement location for the ambient measurements and the evaluation locations.
What are the evaluation locations?
Those are the adjacent residential properties. Each of them is representative of one of the properties, but as I said, we'd evaluated at the property line and at the upper story windows and reported the highest of those.
Well, you've got a red circle with the letter A in it indicated as the measurement location. Is that the only place you took measurements?
That's where the ambient sound level measurements were performed, yes.
So there's only one set of measurements taken, is that correct?
That's correct. We did a set of 24-hour measurements at that location.
Is there a reason you didn't take them between yellow numbers 2 and 3, which is where the noise would be emanating from?
Yes, because there would be more we were trying to get an idea of the ambient sounds for, we're trying to represent those 4 locations basically, and between 2 and 3 may be where the sound is going to be generated, but there's no sound generated there now.
Well, there is ambient sound there now, isn't
There's
there?
ambient sound, but there's no sound from the proposed site. Those sounds aren't generated right now.
Is there a reason you've only used one location to measure? Would it not have been more effective to use 2 or 3 locations?
We felt that that location was representative enough of where we would be evaluating the sound levels.
That's all I have for right now. Thank you. Let me go to Mr. Dockney. Questions for the
Thank
witness?
you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I have really just one question. There were 2 sound reports issued. I'm forgetting the date of the initial one. It was some point in 2024, June of 2024, and then that was revised in February 2025.
Yeah, but the earlier one is not relevant because it was with a different restaurant.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
applica-
Okay.
Yeah, the application was changed. You weren't around with us at the time. But it was supposed to be a Sonic with 2 drive-throughs.
Okay, I'm not sure. This might have been this application. I'll defer. I'll let if I can ask the question, maybe Mr. Dick can answer.
Go right ahead.
There was a report June of 2024, and that report had recommended that there be not a sound wall, but a fence of 2 layers of 3/4 inch plywood at the residential boundary, and that recommendation isn't present in the new report. Only the white vinyl fence. Is there? What is the difference? Why that recommendation was removed from the revised report?
Yeah, so that change was made not for acoustical reasons, but for, I believe, aesthetics, and it would require less maintenance. And from our standpoint, it's there's not really going to be a difference in performance with either option. The sound going over the barrier is so much more than the sound going through it, that the sound going through isn't really contributing at that point. And so for us, the vinyl fence is just as effective. And we had transmission loss data for typical vinyl fence like what's proposed. And so we updated our model, and there was no change in performance, acoustical performance. So that's why that change was from one report to the other.
Okay, thank you. That's the only question I had.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carballo. Zayvette?
Yes, I don't have any questions either.
Thank you so very much. Let's take the share screen now for now. Members of the public, this is your opportunity to present questions to the witness based on his testimony this evening. Kindly raise your hand so that you can be recognized, remembering that this is to ask questions, not to offer evidence or testimony with respect to the application. Kindly raise your hand so that you can be recognized.
Yes, we have Kevin Malanga.
Welcome back, Mr. Oliva.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Brill. Mr. Dick, the decibel scale is not linear. Is that right? It's exponential?
Right. It's a logarithmic scale.
So when you have an ambient noise level of 60 decibels, and then you have another noise level at some point in time because of an external source, and it's 70 decibels, it's twice as loud. Is that right?
So 60 to 70 decibels. It would typically be perceived as a doubling of the loudness.
And if something is 80 decibels, is it then 4 times as loud?
It would typically be perceived that way.
So typically, what do you mean by qualifying it as typically?
Because not everybody hears exactly the same, but for the majority of the population, that's yes.
All right. So how many decibels are emitted by a Harley Davidson 121 cubic inch motorcycle with straight pipes, no mufflers?
I don't know.
Did you consider that motorcycles coming in as customers in the drive-through?
No, but it would be exempt.
Well, it would
They
have
could
an
be driving
impact on
down Eagle
the,
Rock Avenue also.
it would be an impact on the neighbors. So you have 6 Harley Davidsons, straight pipes, drive up into the drive-through, the neighbors would hear it, right?
I'm sure they would hear it.
They would hear it, and it would be a lot louder than an ordinary automobile with conventional operational mufflers.
Yes.
How much louder?
I don't have that data.
Mr. Dick, would you buy a house next to this proposed establishment of 2 restaurants with a drive-through that operates until midnight?
I don't think that's relevant to his testimony or what he's qualified to testify to.
I think it goes to the
No, no.
level of, I'm sorry,
I'm
Mr. Chairman, were
I'm
you
going to
speaking?
allow it. I'm going to allow it. Please answer the question.
I'm not in the market to buy a house.
If you were in the market to buy a house, would you buy a house next to this establishment?
Now you're going too far, Kevin.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other hands up, Megan?
Yes, we have one other one. Hang on. Hussein Ishmael, please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Hussein Ishmael, 6 Rosny Terrace.
Okay.
Adjacent to the proposed facility of Popeyes.
Welcome, Mr. Ismail. Please pose your question to the witness.
Yeah, what is the zoning requirement to have Popeye restaurant or Popeye fast food to a residential area?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ismail, this witness is not a planning consultant. There will be a professional planner who will testify as to the zoning requirements.
Is it 1,500 feet?
No, he can't answer the question. He's not qualified. You have to
Okay.
ask questions based on his testimony regarding sound and noise.
Okay, well, the level of sounds up to midnight. I mean, I can't build from Michael questions when he asked him would he buy property adjacent to Popeyes. Was the level of noise, sounds, and lighting, and people and traffic.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ismail, you're going afield. You will have time to make whatever presentation you want at the end of the hearing. You can testify, you can present evidence, but right now you're limited to asking questions based upon his testimony regarding the noise. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. What is the separation between my property and his and the new restaurant? How far he is with his traffic and separation between I have children and I have girls and I have a swimming pool adjacent to the property.
Mr.
And
Ismail,
my family will be exposed to
Mr.
all these public interference of my
Mr.
property.
Mr. Ismail, you have to pay attention to my instructions. I'm trying to help you. This is
Okay.
not the proper way to ask questions of a witness to go on with your swimming pool and your children and everything else.
What's a separation distance between the proposed property and mine?
There's a good question. Do you know the answer, Mr. Dick? It's on Rosny Terrace.
The distance from what?
From the line of property, from the fence to your proposed facility? What's the separation? How far are you separating from me with your buildings?
Let's do the distance from the drive-through lane to Rosny Terrace. Do you have that calculation?
Do you have that, or do we need that engineer to answer?
I think the engineer can answer that better.
You have any other questions, Mr. Ismail?
Yeah, where is the dumpster located? From a distant point of view to my house, or to my property line. How far is the dumpster is located from the property line?
I think the engineer can answer that better than I can.
You testified about trash removal, which meant you looked at the dumpsters. Where are the dumpsters in relation to the Rosny Terrace property line?
Well, the dumpsters are on the southeast corner of the site.
How far?
I don't have the distance in front of me, but I'm sure the engineer can answer that.
How high this light pole, and what's the intensity of light that is going to be shedding light on my property?
I can't
through
answer
midnight.
Mr. Ismail, he didn't testify as to light. Please focus on the testimony that he gave.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch his testimony. I got to this meeting late. But my question is, his engineer can answer, a designer can answer, because the level of light that's going to be shedding on my property and make me like living in the street all night until midnight, that's important to me, and he importantly answered the question.
Okay, Mr. Ismail, I'm only going to say this one more time. You are not asking questions. You're trying to present testimony, which we want to hear. And you will
Okay.
have every opportunity to do so when the hearing is, when the applicant has finished its case. The
She wants you to
engineer
ask
testified back in
what
March.
the sound impact will be on your home.
Okay.
You said that your windows are all facing that shit.
Okay. How about the sound at night? Impact on my house? With that question I can ask?
Sure. Did you do a measurement with regard to sound levels to Rosny Terrace?
Yes, we did. So the which I don't know which number it was, but locations 1 and 4 in our report were on Rosny Terrace, and the levels we calculated at those locations were 43 dBA and 47 dBA.
And the maximum permissible was 50.
Correct.
At
So-
night, 50 at night.
Yes.
Any other questions, Mr. Ismail?
Yeah, well, the traffic impact.
Okay, he is not a traffic engineer. There will be a traffic engineer who testifies. My
So
re-
it's not in his jurisdiction to answer the question either, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
My respectful suggestion is that you try to arrive at 8 o'clock on the night of the next hearing so that you
When
don't.
will it be the next hearing?
October 23rd.
October 23rd. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, one thing, can I just say something? Mr. Ismail lives right at the south, the
I'm
house
sorry.
right at the south of on Rosny. So he's adjacent. Could you give him a DBA for the house on the south west corner?
6 Rosny Terrace, you said?
Yeah, it'd be the house that's actually, it would be adjacent to that white plastic wall. But it also is on Rosny.
I believe that's location 1 in the plan on page 7.
I think that's what Mr. Ismail wanted to know, what the DBA is, the level. Yeah.
If it's location 1, that was 43 dBA.
So it's no different than the other one you said? It's on Rosnia, you took a different level, or I don't know.
What do you mean? If location 1 in our report was 43 dBA.
Is that any different than something that's would be northwest on Rosny? You know, that'd be far away from him, across the street of Rosny.
Okay, location 4 in our report was 47 dBA.
Okay, to me that doesn't make sense because he's much closer to the.
Mr. Cohen, I'm sorry.
Thank you, thank you. He's much closer to the aspect than the one on the house on the north west corner. But okay, on Rosny, on the opposite side of the street. But thank you.
That includes the truck refrigeration, which would be on the north side of the site.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Any other hands up, Ms. Brill, with questions for the witness from the public?
No, we're not seeing any more hands.
Okay, Danielle, do you have any redirect?
Yeah, Mr. Dick, what's the largest contributor to the ambient sound levels?
Traffic on Eagle Rock Avenue.
Okay, and the measurement location you selected, is that blocked in any way by the existing building?
No.
And if you took that measurement location and put it behind the building, would you expect a lower ambient level to appear on the reader?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Kimbeck?
No, and just to reiterate the conclusion in your report, you know, your analysis confirmed that at all the property lines, we are below DEP sound levels during the day and during the night.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
That concludes the testimony of Mr. Dick. I thank all my board members for muscling through our normal 9:30 break point. It's been a long day for everybody. Do you have anything you want to say, Ms. Kimbeck?
No, just at this point, I know we made an announcement at the beginning of the hearing, but if we could just carry on the record, because I don't think the time was noted in the initial announcement for the 23rd.
That's exactly what I was about to do once again.
Oh, I'm reading your mind.
I hope not. That concludes our hearing for tonight on this application. MPB Realty will be heard again at our special meeting on October 23rd, commencing at 8 p.m. on the Zoom platform. No further notices are required. No further notices will be provided. Thank you, Ms. Kimbeck. Tell Mr. Wine we missed him.
I
And
will.
members of the board, thank you for your service, and I will see you all at our next meeting. Good night.